Well, 9:33 the time, less hours, a longer weekend, and no pay decrease. We're talking about a 4-day work week. The concept has been gaining traction in recent years, and now, according to a new trial, it's not only beneficial for employees.
Now, we want to bring in Queen City News Chief Business Correspondent Taylor Young here. Taylor, with a 4-day work week, I know you've got a lot of people's attention.
Yes, I mean, this isn't just wishful thinking anymore, right? So a growing number of companies and organizations, especially overseas, are proving that a shorter work week does not necessarily equal less work being done. In fact, many are finding the exact opposite. Results are coming in that employees are not only happier, but their performance is improving as well. So a new pilot program in the UK gave dozens of companies the green light to test out a 4-day work week. Employees kept their full pay while working one less day a week for 6 months. And you might be thinking, 6 months, that's a pretty short trial period. Well, it turns out every single company that participated in that trial decided to keep the shorter work week after the 6 months were up. And it wasn't just the employees who said the schedule was beneficial. Some organizations reported an increase in revenue in fewer sick days compared to the same time frame from 1 year ago. Now, I will say there were some critics of this study saying that if you're a company that is willing to do a trial like this, you might be biased and already kind of on board with the idea. I think that there are some calling for kind of a more scientific approach by doing a more randomized group and kind of seeing what the results are. I will say something that I haven't seen been discussed. Could you imagine being an employee at that company where they're like, for 6 months, we're going to only have you work 4 days a week, and then flip the script on that? I don't think a lot of workers would be extremely happy. So there may have been some pressure there to keep it going.
Like, come on, guys, we're not going to go back to that 5-day work week now. So I imagine it's a lot easier to do it in some industries than others. Are there certain industries that are more likely to succeed with a 4-day work week?
Yeah, so the majority of the companies that participated in this trial and what we're seeing just overall kind of incorporating this 4-day work week are really in the tech industries, marketing, professional services, really any kind of industry that's project-based or digital. As we could probably imagine, this would be much harder for industries that are in healthcare or emergency services, retail, manufacturing, really any industry where coverage kind of has to be an everyday thing. So I don't think it's looking great for journalists here. But you know, even then, some organizations are kind of trying out these rotating shifts or looking at more maybe seasonal times where they could give employees an extra day off. So this is really not a one-size-fits-all, but it's absolutely gaining momentum.
And it appears some of that due to the trial's success. But based on this, what do you think the odds that it could be more widespread across the industries that could handle this?
Well, there is a topic that we talk about a lot up here, and that's AI. So AI is forecasted to really kind of help boost the likelihood of this ever becoming real mainstream, which I think is interesting because a lot of times when we talk about AI up here, it's natural to then talk about how it could negatively impact the workforce, right? Whether that's jobs being cut or people really just being replaced by AI. But what we're starting to see is some companies be open to the idea of looking at ways of using AI to kind of take the load off of their employees, you know, because we know integration of AI is only intensifying, right? We're seeing it really being used across every industry. So it's going to come to a point where companies are going to have to decide, am I going to use this to save money on payroll, or am I going to maybe take the load off some of my employees and have them work less? So there are people on both sides of the aisle that say AI is going to be great for this, but it's really going to come down to how companies decide which avenue they're going to go.
Okay, I got a hypothetical for both of you, okay? So as we see more people come back to the office for work, if you were between a job that said, okay, you get a hybrid work from home or a 4-day work week, but you're in office, which one are you going?
I'm going to in work. I need people.
Yeah? So 4-day.
I would be the same way. Yeah, a little more consistency, right? But just 4 days and a 3-day weekend, I could take that.
What day would you take off? Because I would take Mondays off.
Ooh.
You could also take Wednesdays.
Oh, no,
right?
I think I'm Monday.
And then you get 2-2.
2-2?
No, Sunday scaries if it's a Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Yep,
I like that. All right, 4-day work week, something to consider. All those businesses in Uptown. Could be you. All right.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.